So, it appears my #1 no annual fee credit card of 2023 just might have a sign-up bonus. Kinda. Aren't all credit cards you recommend supposed to have a sign-up bonus? Yes. 99.999% of all the credit cards I recommend come with a sign-up bonus. The only exception to that rule has been the Bilt Mastercard, up until now. Kinda. So, in today's video, we're going to be discussing some reports of whether or not there is a sign-up bonus floating around for the Bilt card, including my own personal experience, and whether or not this card makes sense for you. However, I want to be respectful of your time, so let me just cut to the chase. Whether there is or is not a sign-up bonus, if you like free travel, then this card likely makes sense for you. This card 100% makes sense for you if you pay rent. And if you like free travel and you pay rent, why don't you already have the card? For everyone else that's still here, you know what to do. Pop a squat, tap that little thumb icon, and if you'd like to support my channel, you can feel free to check out my affiliate link in the description box below. And before we break down the sign-up bonus mystery, allow me to provide everyone some high-level context as to why everyone and their mother has been jumping on the no annual fee Bilt Mastercard. And it comes down to two factors: the earnings rate on the card and the benefits. So let's talk about the earnings. This card will earn 3 points for every single dollar you spend on dining, 2 points for every single dollar you spent on travel, 1 point per dollar spent everywhere else, and 1 point per dollar spent on rent. And that is really what makes this card stand out. This is likely your largest monthly expense, anywhere from, I don't know, hopefully on the low end, 10, 15%, maybe up to 30 to 40% of your monthly income. But regardless, you need to pay to live someplace. And my whole thing is, why aren't you getting points for it? See, up until the Bilt card was released, if you wanted to earn points for rent, you'd have to pay a processing fee where it would be 2, 3, 4, 5%, or you couldn't even use a credit card. If you had to pay the processing fee, it didn't make sense for the earnings. And if you can't even use a credit card, then you're SOL. But Bilt came in and absolutely upended the model on its head. So here's the 2 ways you'll earn points on rent. One, if the card's already part of what's known as the Bilt Alliance, and so it's a bunch of different apartment buildings that are part of the Bilt Alliance, use a Bilt card, no processing fee, you're good to go to earn your points. The second way is, if your landlord would only accept a check, Bilt will actually cut them a check on your behalf. Think about that. You get your routing number, ACH number, and you just push it right through and you still earn the points. And I always ask this poll, but I'm curious to hear from people, for a single bedroom, wherever you are, how much are you paying for rent? I imagine some people are out there paying $1,000, $2,000, hopefully not $3,000 plus, but if you are, why are you not getting 24,000, 36,000 points? And here's a pro tip. If you live with a bunch of roommates, and let's say you guys rent a place that's, I don't know, $4,000 a month, then you should be the one to pay for rent on your Bilt card and you should get 48,000 points. In the later section, we'll talk about how much value that 48,000 points gets you, but trust me, it is a lot of outsized value. Now let's talk about the other side of the equation, which are the benefits. And this is really what I think, in addition to the rent, draws everyone and their mother to the card. So it's a huge list, and I'm gonna call it the ones that I think really stand out. The first one, and the one that really puts this card out on top, is the fact that this card offers what's known as transfer partners. In the whole credit card points and miles game, the most value that you're going to get from your credit card points/miles is transferring them to an airline or a hotel. And then they have these little award charts, and within the award charts, you try to find a sweet spot to get the most bang for your buck. However, not all airlines and hotels are made the same. Some airlines and hotels have frequent flyer points that aren't worth very much. Others have frequent flyer points that are worth a ton. Bilt has 2 of, I would argue, the most valuable programs. One, American Airlines, and the second being Hyatt. So that first transfer partner, American Airlines. One of the most valuable ways to use American Airlines miles, in my opinion, is trying to fly from North America over into the Maldives. Instead of paying $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 per person out of pocket, what if you pay less than $48, 70,000 miles, and you are in a fully lie flat suite that could potentially make a double bed in the sky if you're flying with you and your partner? Yeah, that's the value of American Airlines when it comes to international premium cabin redemptions. On the flip side, if you're not looking to fly, maybe it's hotels. Okay, Hyatt. I recently became a Hyatt globalist, and even before that, I recognized that Hyatt's points value is incredible when you compare it to the other hotel chains. As an example, let's say you wanted to get down over into an all-inclusive resort in Mexico, Playa del Carmen, Cancun, whatever it may be. You might be shelling out well over $400, $500, $700 a night. Instead, you could transfer points to Hyatt, paying anywhere from 25 to 35,000 points a night. That is the value of the Bilt point, is transferring to those partners. Secondarily, on that travel vein, let's say you're like, John, this is way too much, over my head, I don't want to transfer. Okay, you can book travel directly within the Bilt travel portal and your points get a 25% bonus. What that means is, remember this roommate situation we discussed earlier? Instead of just getting 48,000 points and converting them into, let's say, $480 of value, you can get $600 worth of travel value just redeeming through the Bilt travel portal. And speaking of Bilt travel portals, this is more so for the credit card travel enthusiasts. Bilt actually has this partnership with Points.me, which is basically a program that allows you to search for flights and it tells you how many points you need on an airline. So instead of either watching my videos or doing your own research, it'll just tell you, oh, you need 50,000 United Airlines miles. You can transfer them from Bilt. So Bilt actually has an integration built in. I believe Points.me costs a subscription otherwise, but that's a really cool feature just inherently on the app you can access for free. Another cool benefit of Bilt is this thing called Bilt Protect, and this one's just so cool to me. It's basically the idea that, hey, you might have a credit limit of $5,000. Let's say the rent that you have to charge every month is $4,000, but obviously you might be using the card. Okay, what if you already had a $2,000 balance? Well, if you have a $2,000 balance, there's no way you could charge $4,000 of rent on top because you're gonna get denied. Well, what Bilt Protect does is it basically links Bilt to your checking account and it pulls money directly from your checking account without actually charging the credit card. So you're spending the $2,000, the $4,000 of rent comes up, but Bilt pulls the $4,000 from the checking account, you still get the points, you protect your credit utilization, and you don't end up getting denied for the transaction. That is like the coolest feature ever because it is so consumer centric. They recognize the problem and they came out and solved it on behalf of the consumer. The card also offers you cell phone protection. So if you pay your phone bill with the Bilt Mastercard and the phone gets damaged somehow, it can actually cover you up to $800 per claim and you just pay a $25 deductible out of pocket. And this is a super useful benefit, especially if you don't want to go out of your way to buy cell phone insurance directly from any of the major carriers. And this last benefit, I would say is a quasi benefit because it's not so much something that's associated with the card, but it's a promotion they run on the first of every month. And it's known as Bilt Rent Days. So on the first of the month, and it's happened every single month thus far that I know of at least, you double your points earning. So instead of 3x for dining, you get 6x. Instead of 2x for travel, you get 4x. Instead of 1x everywhere, you get 2x everywhere. However, it is still only 1x on rent. Regardless though, it is incredibly elevated. But that's not all. On rent days, Bilt throws out these crazy bonus offers. For example, one of the rent days gave you a 100% bonus if you transfer points to Hawaiian Airlines. So you transfer 1 point, you get 1 point. That's unheard of in the credit card space. The highest I've ever seen was maybe like a 35% bonus. That's insane. There was also another recent bonus that was transferring 100% to Flying Blue, which is comprised of Air France and KLM, a great way to fly to Europe in business class. And most recently, there was just a bonus for transferring points to Virgin's program anywhere from 75% to 150%, depending on your status with Bilt. And to earn status with Bilt is pretty simple. You just swipe the card and eventually you'll end up getting different status tiers. And if you're paying rent for it, well, it's probably pretty easy to actually hit some of these tiers. So those are some of the rent day bonuses. There was one that was so insane. I believe it must have been in February, March, where you just got Hyatt Elite status. Like you just had the Bilt Mastercard, you said, yes, I want Hyatt Elite status, and you just got it for a period of, I believe it was like 2 months or so. And once you've done your 20 nights, you're off to the races. Hyatt Elite status, obviously the guaranteed breakfast, the suite upgrades. I mean, I'll throw up some footage right now where I stayed at the Andaz on 5th Avenue in New York City. We got this wellness suite with like an in-room gym mirror thing. We were given $75 per day per person just for breakfast. We got free parking, which was $100 a day. I mean, listen, Hyatt Properties, chef's kisses. Hyatt Globalist, oh my God, it is truly the next level. Oh, and did I mention that the card has no annual fee? All of this comes in at no annual fee. That's what makes this card absolutely insane. However, there is one thing that the card is missing, and that's been a sign-up bonus. It hurts me because I feel like that's such a cardinal rule when it comes to credit cards. Don't get it unless there's a sign-up bonus. And now let's talk about the fact that, wait a minute, actually there might be a quasi sign-up bonus. Now the main event, the sign-up bonus, or the supposed sign-up bonus. For forever and a lifetime, there have always kind of been data points here and there floating around of people saying, hey, I got a sign-up bonus offer from Bilt. And other people saying, hey, I didn't get anything from Bilt. And so I wanna take a look at it and see what exactly is going on here. So a couple days ago, I actually ended up getting an email from one of my followers who basically told me that, hey, they signed up for the Bilt card and then they started swiping on the card. And as you can see here, they started earning 5x on each transaction. And this was for a period of 5 days. And that got me thinking, because this wasn't actually the first person to reach out to me talking about this. I actually had 2 other friends who had texted me individually after I recommended them the Bilt card that said, I'm getting this crazy earnings potential, what's going on here? One of them was my buddy Dave, who got this card back in April. He got the card, started swiping on it. As you can see here, he started earning 5 points for every single dollar he spent everywhere for the first 5 days. I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty interesting. And then followed on, my friend Brian similarly got approved for the Bilt card, started using it, and also started earning the 5 points for every dollar spent for a period of 5 days. So then I went online to hit the trusty Google, and I pulled up this blog article from 1 Mile at a Time, where Ben actually ended up getting an email from Bilt that basically said, hey, congratulations, welcome to the Bilt card. You're gonna earn 5x over the next 5 days on all spent, allowing you to earn up to 50,000 points. Then digging a little bit deeper, I actually found terms and conditions for this 5x over 5 days offer from Bilt themselves. And what's especially promising in this particular terms and conditions is the fact that there is no actual time limit, right? It's not saying, hey, by June, by August, by whenever. It is just saying these are the terms and conditions, at least the first point of the 5x over 5 days. So what's my take? I think the frustrating part is that there is no conclusive evidence of what exactly triggers this bonus. In fact, people don't actually get this offer until they have received the physical card. So it's hard to say whether or not you should preemptively apply, expecting you'll get the 5x and then saving a bunch of purchases and throwing it on the card. Now, that being said, if you paid attention to this video, I personally still think the card is worthwhile to get. And by knowing that there's a 5x potential, it might sweeten the deal a little bit, but I certainly wouldn't count on that every single person who applies is going to get the 5x over the 5 days. So I'd love to hear from folks out there in terms of, let's gather some data points. Were you able to receive the 5x bonus offer when you signed up and got approved for the Bilt Mastercard? And as always, folks, if you have any comments, questions, feel free to leave it in the link down below, and I'll catch you all next video. Peace!